Now today we'll discuss about your strings. Strings are represented in double quotes, triple quotes, and in single quotes. So double quotes, triple quotes, and in your single quotes. Okay. So strings are called as group of words, special characters, and numbers, and also and also white spaces, and also your white spaces. Okay. So remember that anything that is represented in between double, single, and triple quotes, we represent them as string only. We represent them as a string. Okay. So to manipulate the data of a string, there are few methods available. So what are those methods? Why it is going to be used? Right? So for example, when we perform some operation either on a DB or on API or on an application, right? We got some data. Now we need to validate the data. Okay. Say like extracting the number or verifying that the text words are correct, right? To do so, right, we'll be using your to do all these kind of operations, right? We need to use some methods, right, which is nothing going to be called as data manipulations. So in Python there are few list of methods available. Okay. So we need to understand each one of the method. That is available inside your Python strings. So the first method that I want to bring here is going to be called as length. So length. This method is used to get the total length of a string. Okay. Here this method will count total characters available on the source string. Total characters available on your source string. So on the source string, how many number of characters are going to be available? It will count, guys. It will count including spaces, if there are any spaces available, it is going to be considered those spaces also as a part of your length. Okay. So the syntax is going to be look like ln of string or your string variable. We have to pass your string or string variable. Okay. So what is the output I'm going to get here? The output I'm going to get is as integer. I'm going to get the length, the total length of my string. Okay. So the first method that we discussed here is going to be called as length, where it is going to help the user to get the total length of the string, which includes, right, white spaces also. So this length method is going to count each and every character that is available on the source string. Then it is going to return you the total length of the string. So now we'll see how we can able to implement it. We'll see how we can able to implement it. Okay. So now let us see about this string implementations with the first method called length. So I'm going to create a new Python file called as length. Okay, length, length. Okay, so I have a string as data is equal to learning Python for test automation. Learning Python for the test automation. Okay, now I want to get the total length of my string. How can I get that? So I have to use the method called len of data. Okay, so let me run this length. Now see, I'll be getting the total length as 34. I'll be getting the total length as 34, which includes the white spaces also, including your white spaces also. Okay, so let me show you the second method. The second method called as format. Okay, so this method is used to format the source string according to the user needs. According to the user needs. So for suppose I got the sum of two numbers as 30. Okay, so now I want to add two numbers. Now I want to add two numbers, and I need to display the output as sum of two numbers is plus as your output. So here we definitely get an error. We definitely get an error saying that string cannot concat with your integer. We cannot able to concat with your integer. That is not possible. Okay. So to avoid these kind of errors, right? We use format method. We use your format method. So the syntax of this method is right, string or string variable dot format. Okay, dot format. You have to pass your params here. So let me show you the example of using this format. Okay, I have A equal to 40. I have B equal to 30. Okay, so let me increase the font size. To the font, let me increase the size as 19 here. Click on apply, click on OK. Yeah, So it's visible, right? Now what I do, right? Generally, if I want to print, right, I'm going to use the sum of two numbers is, then I'm going to use my plus of a plus b. We used to do that. Now what happened here? I'll be getting an exception saying that I cannot able to concat my string with my integer. So what I want to do here, I want to convert my integer into my string. This we already seen in the previous session. Now what happened? I have been converted my integer into my string. So I got the sum of two numbers is 70. Now what if I have very big string? I cannot able to go and do typecasting for everything, right? So to overcome that problem, right, we have a method called as format. So now the sum of two numbers is, just come here and give a index position, guys. Just come here and give a index position in between your curly braces of 0. It means that some number should come and replace here. Some number should come and replace in the position of this index number 0. Okay. So now what I'll do, right? Dot format, dot format. Okay. Keep your a plus b. Keep your a plus b. Now what happened here? The 0 is going to be replaced with your value of a plus b, with the value of a plus b. Now run this, right? See here, the sum of the numbers is 70. But right, some people will not understand what is meant by 0. Why Pratap is writing 0 here? So to make you to understand very easily and clearly, right? I can also able to name with my sum. Okay, so sum underscore is equal to a plus b. I'm going to use my a plus b here. Now see what I'm going to do here. So now what I'll do, right? Sum is equal to sum underscore. Now I'm telling you exactly that I'm going to replace this sum value with this variable. Okay, so we can also able to use this kind of representation to make your string to be get formatted. To make your string to be get formatted. So let us see one more example also for that. I have name equal to Pratap. Okay, place is equal to Hyderabad. Company equal to EPAM Systems India. Okay, so these are my three details, and EMP ID equal to 104119. This is my employee ID. Okay, so now I need to write a good string where I can able to present to my user. So what I'll do here is I'm going to use my print, or let me use my message equal to okay, the user colon the user colon. Here I'm going to use my username is working in, right? Here I'm going to use my company. Okay, wait. Is working in the company with the EMP underscore ID colon. Here I'm going to write my ID here. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll be using my format. So what I'm going to do here, username is equal to, I'm going to use as I'm going to use it as I'm going to use it as name. Okay, so and I'm going to use my company is equal to company, and then id is equal to, so I think what my emp id. Okay, so like this we can able to use your string format, where we can able to have a descriptive and readability. Okay, so when we are trying to create a strong messages, large long messages, right? So my approach is going to be like this. Now what happened? So the username is going to be replaced with the name, and the company is going to replace with the company, and the id is going to replace with the emp id. Now use your print of message and try to run this. Yes, see, the user Pratap is working in EPAM systems India with the emp id 104199. So this is the usage, right? We'll be using in a real time. So in real time also, when you want to write your log file with a more descriptiveness, right? We'll be using like this. So don't try to use your concatenate operator and don't make the code to be get messy, right? Even though with the performance wise, this is very fast using your string format. So string format will play a major role in your automation process. So now let us see the third method that I want to bring here is called as capitalize, right? So this method is used to capitalize the first letter of the given word on the whole string. See the behavior of this method, guys, right? What will happen? It is going to capitalize the starting letter of the given word on the whole string, and and it makes all other characters and make all other characters into smaller letters. Okay, so syntax is going to be called as, the syntax is, right, the syntax is going to be string string or string variable dot dot capitalize. Okay, string or string variable dot capitalize. So now let us see that method implementation here. I'm going to call it as capitalize. Okay, so I'm going to use this capitalize method. I'm going to show you how it is going to work like. So data as I have data as Python is very easy to understand. Okay, I have a string like this. Python is very easy to understand. Okay, now let me use the method called capitalize. Now see here, let me make this to be a smaller one. Python is very easy to understand. Okay, now see here, what happened here? No matter how many capital letters you have in between, the starting letter will be converted into your capital letter, and rest of the words are going to be converted into your smaller case. So when you want to write your report to be very much in a beautiful manner, right? Then in such cases we'll be using your this capitalize method. Okay, what it will do? It is going to be convert only the first character of the given sentence into capital letter, and rest of the cases will be into on your lower cases. So which is going to be called do by the method called your capitalize method. Now let us see the next method called as title. What this method will do? So this method will make each and every word, starting letter to be as a capital letter. Okay, what it will do? It is going to be convert every starting letter of the given word into your capital letter. Okay, so for example, let us see this. The syntax is going to be very simple, guys. Syntax is going to be your string or string variable, string variable dot title. Okay, now see what will happen. Let me create, I'll copy the same string only. I'll be creating a new Python file and I'm going to name it as title here, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now I'm going to replace the method as title. Now run this. Now see what happened here. Each and every word starting letter is converted into your capital letter. So this is going to be called as your title case. Okay, so to make your every word of the starting letter to be in the capital letter, we'll be using your title. Now let us see the next method called as fifth method called as caseful. Okay, so this method is used to convert the whole string into smaller cases. Okay, it is going to be convert the whole string into a smaller case. So the method is syntax is going to be called as string or string variable, string variable dot caseful. So what this method will return? It is going to return you every string letter into your smaller case. So let me copy this again. Okay, I'm going to create a new Python file called as caseful. So now what I'll do here is I'm going to make it as caseful here. Now what happened? The each and every letter that is available here, the each and every letter that is available here, right? It is going to convert everything into your smaller case. Okay. So the next method I want to bring here is called as sixth one called as lower. Okay. So this method is also used to convert the whole string into smaller case. Okay, so we'll be convert the entire string into a smaller cases. Okay, so let me use this print of data dot lower. So what happened here? It is going to convert into the same way. It is going to act in the same way. The next method that I want to bring here is going to called as upper. It's going to be called as upper. So this method is used to convert the whole string into uppercase. The whole string into your uppercase. So how can I do that? So the syntax is going to be again print of string dot string or string variable whatever it may be dot upper. So it is going to be convert the entire string into your uppercase. See here, it is going to be convert the entire string into your uppercase. So to convert anything into your lowercase, use your caseful or to lower. If you want to convert everything into uppercase, use the method called as upper. Now let us see the another method that is available called as count. So this method is used to get the count of user given word or character on the source string. On your source string, right? If you want to count how many times a particular word got repeated, how many times a particular character got repeated, right? To check that count, we'll be using your count method. The syntax is going to be called as string dot count, right? So the output is going to be given as given as what? It is going to give your number, which is going to be called as my integer. So let me go back here and write the method name as count. Okay. So now here I have written like Python is very easy to understand. Python is booming in the market. Booming in the market. Python, okay, is used for DevOps, something kind of thing. Okay, I wrote a note like this. Now I want to verify how many times the word Python got repeated. So I'll use my print. So what is my string variable? Data dot count of what word I want to verify. The word called Python here. So now what will happen, right? It is going to give me the total count of your word called as Python. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. See here the total number of times the word Python got repeated is 3. Okay. So if I use my I here, so how many times the word character I got repeated, it will check on the whole string and it will print the total number of times that I got repeated. Okay. So if you take in Java and all, right, there is no method like count. So we have to write our logic to get the total words count here. So in an interview, right, for especially for QA automation, right, the people might be ask you get the total number of times the word repeated in the given string. So such kind of examples can be cracked out easily by using your count method. So now let us see the other example, the other method called as split. Okay. So this method is used to split the given source string with help of some delimiter okay. So the syntax is going to be look like string or string variable dot split. Okay, we have to pass your delimiter. What is the delimiter? Based upon what delimiter you have to break your string. Okay, so this method will return you a list of items. It is going to return you a list of items. Okay, so I'll be explaining you list in detail. For now, just remember that it is going to give you a array of elements, a bunch of elements. Okay, a bunch of words, not element, a bunch of words. Okay, so now to break the string into words, we'll be using your split method. Okay, so let us see how exactly we'll be using that. So let me create a new file called as Python file and I'm going to name it as split method. So I have data is equal to as I have America, Japan, and India. So now break the string and print them word by word So how can I use this? So see here, I'm going to use my words equal to data dot split with the delimiter called semicolon. So now what happened here, right? Wherever there is a semicolon available, right, it is going to break that. Okay, it is going to break the string wherever there is a semicolon available. Okay, but your string will never consider, this method will never consider the semicolon. It won't, the semicolon will never come your output. In your output, you can't able to see the semicolon. But instead, what happened? Wherever there is a semicolon, it is going to break your string and it is going to give into the words. Okay. Now let me use print of words here. So I'll be getting a list of elements in a square bracket. See here, I'll be getting the list of elements in my square brackets. So after delimited, right, this is the values I got. So instead of semicolon, I have a space here. Now if I run this, will it throw any exception for me? No, it won't throw any exception, but rather it will consider this entire thing as a word. Okay, so to break with your space, just give a space here, then it is going to break into your words. So this is the way where you are going to use your split. So there is another method which is going to be parallel to this method called as partition, guys. Okay, so this method will work same as a split but completely different. Okay, so user must provide a delimiter. The first point, you should provide a delimiter. So this method will find where exactly the delimiter is present on the source string. It will go directly right and it will search for the delimiter where exactly it is available on the source string. Now it will break the string. It will break the string as follows. So what it is? First one, the first part before the delimiter as one word. Second one, delimiter as another word. Third one, after delimiter as another word. The note that you have to remember here is when I have multiple delimiter, then what is the output? Right? Then what is the output I'm going to get? Right, this is the interview question that I faced, but I failed to answer this question. I still remember this question, so I'm telling you that. Okay, so what is going to be happen here is, see here, when we have multiple delimiters available, then this method will consider only the first occurrence, and rest will be ignored. Okay, so now let us see this and check out where we can able to use this partition method. So I have data as America, comma, India, comma, as Japan. Okay, I have like this. Now what I'll do here is I'm going to use words equal to data dot partition with what? I'm going to partition with my comma. Now print off words. Now see what happened here. I have comma repeated multiple times, but what happened? The first occurrence will be taken as a consideration, right? So it will go and find. Where this comma is available. Yes, it is available here. Then what happened? it broke down into the string. The before comma as one word. Yes, we got that. And the delimiter, what is that? Comma as another word. Okay. And after comma, whatever it is there, right? It is going to be considered as another word. Though we have a delimiter available, it will ignore it. So that is what I try to tell here. Before delimiter as one word, delimiter as another word, after delimiter as another word. So when I have multiple delimiters, no matter, right, it won't consider it, it will ignore. In interview, definitely they're going to be ask you difference between your partition and split. So this is going to be your explanation. Fine. So this method is used to get the index position of the user given word on the source string. Okay, so this method is going to help you to get the index position of the user given word on the source string. Okay, for example, let me use my Python file. So I'm going to write as index data equal to as the transaction ID, or I'm going to use colon as 78956. Okay, now I want to get the index position of this colon, right? So how to get that index position? So to get that index position, right, what I will do here is I'll be using print of data dot find user colon there. Okay, now it is going to bring you the position of this colon, where exactly it is available, where exactly the colon is available on the source string. We are going to get the index position. If I try to give, I have a star here, but I'm going to give some other wrong value available on my string. Okay, so colon is not available on my string, and if I try to give a wrong value, right, then what will happen? It is going to give me the negative value. So how to understand this method? So this method is used to get the index position of the user given word on the source string. If the user given word is not available, if it's not available, right, then the position will be less than 0. Then the position will be less than 0. If available, it will be 0 or greater than 0. If it is going to be 0 or greater than 0. So why 0 or greater than 0? Sometimes, right, if my looking character is available in the starting position itself, it may available, right? The first character of the string word might be the word that you're looking for. It might be available in the first starting position itself. In such cases, right, I'll be getting as 0. So if I give something else, right, that will be less than 0. So if a match is found, then it will be equal to 0 or greater than 0. If no match is found, that will be less than 0, which is nothing but your negative value. Now let us see about the next method called as orFind. So what is the syntax of this method? The syntax of this method is going to be, what is the syntax of this method? String or string variable dot find of user given word, which is going to be called as user given word. So it is going to give me, what is the output I'm going to get here? The output I'm going to get here is as integer. Okay, so pass some word and check if it is available, then get the index position of that. So there is a note available on this method. What is the note? Right? So the note is when there is no user given word available, right? So the position will be less than 0. It will be less than 0. No exception. It won't throw any exception. Okay. So if there are, second is going to be if there are multiple occurrences available. If there are multiple occurrences available, it will consider the first occurrence only. It will be considered the first occurrence only. Third note is when it is returning a integer value, when it is returning a integer value, it means that it is returning the index position of the first character of the given word. For example, let me take here the string as India is a great country. I have a string like this. Now I want to find the word called great in my source string. Right? Now what will happen? If I run this, so it is going to give me the position number as 9. So 9 is going to be the position of this G, not this word entire great. People will get confused here. So it is going to give the 9 means the position of G it is going to give. Now count it here. It's a 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So remember that it is going to give me the first character index position of the given word. It will go and search for the entire word. It will do the word to word matching only. If a match is found, then the number is going to be the index position of the first character in the given word. I literally faced this question in one of the interview. So what is this number? Is the number is going to be this word or this character? So there is one more method called as rfind. So this method is used to get the last index of the user given word on the source string. So whatever the value that I'm going to be passed, right? If I want to get the last index of that, then I'm going to use as r in rfind. So I'm going to get the last occurrence. Okay, I'm going to get the last occurrence. It is going to be same, works as same as find method. However, it is going to work with the find method, the same behavior is going to be there, but the only operation that you're going to do here is to get the last index of the user given word. So just use your rfind. Then what happened here? So what is the last occurrence of G here? Okay. So now I'm going to get the index position of second occurrence of my G. See, the index position is 27. The index position is 27. So there is one more method called as index. So what is the method name? Index. So index. What is going to do? This method will also works as same as find. In the find method, what happened? When there is no match found, okay, it will not throw any exception. It won't throw any exception. It never throw any exception. What will happen? Okay, we'll be getting less than 0 values, probably as -1. We'll be getting a negative values. In this index method, okay, Python will throw an exception, guys. It will deliberately go and throw an exception. So I'm trying to do here index, right? I'm going to get as a Japan keyword, right? Where Japan is not available in my string. Now what will happen, right? It will throw an exception. See here, substring not found. I cannot able to go and find. I cannot able to go and find the word called Japan in the given source string, so that I cannot able to find it. So it will throw an exception. Okay. So when there is a match found, right, then it is going to work. Else it is going to throw the exception. So now which is the best one? Right, find is going to be the best one, right? If there is no match is also found, then what I can happen to do, so I can able to go proceed further without throwing an exception. When there is an exception, right, the progress is going to be stopped, then and there abnormal termination will be happen. So in interview, definitely they're going to be asked difference between split and partition, index and find. Okay, similarly we also have the one more method called as R index. So what is meant by R index? So the last occurrence, same like R find, we are going to use your R index. So today we have been learned around 15 to 16 methods, which is very close to 16 methods, and there are few more methods available on the string. So tomorrow we'll try to complete those string methods, and tomorrow we'll start doing some exercises on your strings.